Hey guys, all right. Injuries from tonight. Zane Gonzalez, he hurt his right calf in pregame warmups. Never was able to participate. Chris Conley, shoulder, he had to leave. AJ Parker pulled his hamstring. Taylor Hawkins, we think broke his hand, and that was it from today.
Can you talk about just the logic of getting rid of Trey for a fourth-round pick? Like, why was that a good move for the organization?
Well, we decided on our two we're going to be that we were going with. We'll see how our 53 works out to see if we're going to keep three or not. When we told Trey, when we told him that he wasn't the two, I said we'd like to keep him here as the three, but we also want to do what's good for him too, and we'll see how this plays out. Now, when we looked into other teams and he told us that he would like another opportunity to go somewhere where we had a chance to be the two, we thought we got some good deals for him. There's a number of teams involved. To end up getting in the fourth was a little better than we anticipated and clears up a lot of money and allows a better situation for him too.
Did he request the trade, and was it a situation where it was unrepairable to the point where if he wasn't traded, you would have had to release him?
No, it was never unprepared. What did you call it?
Irreparable.
We could always fit. I mean, we were good. Like Trey, it actually had a great conversation with him today. Had a tough conversation when I told him he didn't win the second job. Today was much easier, just going through it for the last couple of days with him. But no, there was nothing to fix. It was what it was. And I told him when we told him that he was going to be the three. If he could find another opportunity that was good, we'd allow him to do that. And he did. And we feel he'll be better for it, and I think we will too.
Why did you end the quarterback competition before the third preseason?
Because I knew it. I thought it would take longer. I wanted to go through this game, but I knew it. And I think a lot of guys knew it. And I think he had an idea. It was more about my relationship with Trey that, I'm in meetings with him every day and stuff. I'm on the field with him every day. And I could get a sense that he was starting to feel that we felt that way. And it was the truth. And I don't want to BS him. So once we knew and once I could tell he knew that we knew, I remember the night before, I realized, I'm going to come in the morning and tell him. I don't want that between us. So I did. Didn't expect it to get out right away, but it did. But that was something I thought I owed to Trey. And I told Trey right before a team meeting that we had. I didn't get a chance to even tell Sam or anyone else on the team. That was just a personal thing between Trey and I, and it obviously got out, but that's why I thought it was important to tell him.
When we asked you on Wednesday, you didn't tell us. Did you want to tell the players first? What was your reasoning?
No, my reasoning was, I would love to tell the players first. I'd love to tell Sam first. We were hoping that Trey was going to come to practice still, and I totally understood why he didn't. He asked if he could have it off because, he was a little emotional and stuff, didn't want to be around the players like that, and totally understood that. But we're still hoping he would come, and then by the time he didn't, wasn't going to have a meeting on the field to tell the players who we announced as a second-string guy. And I had not to mention, practice ended at 1:43, and I had a radio show at 1:45. And so I got on a radio show, and I talked about it for 20 minutes there, and that's what I felt good with because I thought if I talked about it there, you guys would get that information. Unfortunately, I found out that radio show was delayed because of a baseball game. They went into extra innings, so you guys didn't find out till 4:30. So if I would have had it over, I would have told you guys right away. But usually when I do a radio show, you guys get that stuff pretty fast. So I thought you guys had it, and I realized that you didn't until about 4:30.
Team today.
When you signed Darnold, did you tell Trey this could be the backup? Was it clear to him? And if it was, what was his reaction even back then?
I told Trey the same thing I told you guys. And Brock since day one. So, it's been everything we've told you guys, we've told him. We said if Brock was healthy, it was going to be hard for anyone to beat him out with what he put on tape last year. If he's not healthy, Sam and Trey were competing for the one spot. If he was, we thought they'd be competing for the two. That's what we said before they got here. That's what they said when they got here, OTAs and training camp, and that's the way it worked out. They had OTAs together. They had all these practices, and Sam won that competition.
What did Sam show you during the practices and during camp to make you and the staff feel that he was the better choice?
Just everything, the whole body of work. He got better as it went. I thought it was tight for a little bit, and just over the last couple weeks and stuff, started to separate himself each day. And just the more comfortable he got, the more consistent he got. I think it was pretty apparent for all of us.
To clarify, did he request a trade? And which day did that happen, and how was that conveyed to you?
When Trey and I talked, we talked about all the situations going forward, and I told him how much I'd still want him here to be the 3 and things like that. I also told him that what I think's best for Trey. I do think Trey needs an opportunity to play more. The opportunities he's had here, when he has had those 2 opportunities, he's gotten hurt in both of them and kind of missed that window a little bit. Gave an opportunity for someone else to do it, and that person did it and stayed healthy for those 7 games and showed us something that we're confident in. And Trey kind of needs that again, and he didn't get that here. And so I told him that's what I think is best for him if he can find a good opportunity. If he doesn't and he wants to be here, well, we want him here. And Trey took a little bit of time to think about it, but he came back and said he'd like to find another spot if we can. And that's when we started looking into it, his agent, us, and that came to fruition today.
That first conversation was Wednesday, and then Thursday he came back and said, I'd rather find
No,
another-"
the first conversation was Wednesday. About an hour and a half later, he came and told me that he would like that. He'd also like to not have to go out to practice and stuff, just to get his stuff together and think about it. And that's what he did. And the next day he came in and was at our walkthrough, was at our meetings last night. We didn't know if something would happen today. Him and I were communicating about it yesterday, the possibilities of it, told him some teams that were interested. So I was talking about those options last night, what I thought was best, what he did. And then today, some other teams became interested. And if they wouldn't have, he would have been out at that game and stuff, and we would have tried to go with him as our 3. But some good stuff did come up, and some stuff that I think he's really excited about, especially telling him today, I could tell he was, and some things we are too.
You did give up a lot for him. He's still young. Was this a failure of evaluation, a failure of just circumstance? How would you characterize this move?
I mean, obviously, we took our shot, and it didn't work out. So, I mean, that's on us for that. But I'm not going to say anything as in failure. That'd be too much of a negative towards Trey. I get our deal. We took a shot to go for that. We were hoping that he could be our guy, and that didn't work out. So I understand that from our standpoint, but I still do believe in Trey. And, about 3 years ago, we had the 12th pick in the draft, after that COVID year, but we thought we had a really good team. And we didn't think we'd have a chance again to get close to that top area to take a quarterback in the top 10. And when you have the 12th pick in the draft, we went into it realizing it was a risk, but we thought we weren't going to pick that high again for a couple of years, and we would never have a chance to move from 12 to 3. We tried to move up to a number of spots before that, but 3 was the first one that would do it. We looked into everything between 12 and 3. And we got that, and we took our shot, something we believed in and a person we believed in. Was hoping he could play more his first year. We knew he wouldn't come in and just take it over from Jimmy, but we were hoping to mix it in and kind of give him some experience. But once he broke the finger and stuff, it just got tougher for him as time went. We knew we'd commit to him the next year, which we did. We knew he wasn't fully ready in every aspect, but we knew he had a skill set that we could put some stuff together to give him the chance to compete and grow with a good team as he developed as a full quarterback. And he got hurt in the first quarter of the second game, which kind of set that back. And now we're here in the 3rd year, and we still got a good team. And we thought it would be Trey. I think we got pretty fortunate falling into still having a rookie quarterback in our 3rd year that happened to be the 7th round pick. And we also look back at it as we didn't think with having the 29th pick, which, those 2 first-round picks ended up being the 29th pick in the draft, which we were expecting it to be late. We were hoping it would be 32 or something like that, but we know with two first-round picks that are both at 29, you can never even consider to move up to something like that. And so we had to act then, and we did. Didn't work out, which can be a huge challenge, but that's why we feel pretty fortunate what we fell into.
Was Trey able to go over the options with you this morning before you accepted the trade, and then how did you convey that to the team?
I just told the team I told them after the deal, just, anytime you trade a quarterback and things like that, all those guys are going through some similar stuff. I'm going to have a lot of tough conversations with a lot of guys over these next few days. But I always told them the circumstances are different when it's under this magnitude, a quarterback position, someone who was drafted like him. So I just told them that's up for John and I to decide. I hope they trust us with what's best for the team, but they just got to be prepared for those questions and stuff, which they're not going to know much about.
One non-QB question. What's the status of Jake Moody and how long is he going to be out?
That's week to week right now. Or we're hoping that he can have a chance for week 1. He ended up straining his quad last week in practice, and we'll see how his body reacts to it.
With Zane's injury, does that mean you have to look at other kickers?
We most likely got to, and we definitely got to have a plan B for week 1. You know, Zane could have been that, but he's probably not going to be ready for week 1 too. Looking at what happened to him today.
A couple days, Kyle, you did say 10 days ago, it kind of when it really clarified. You go back 10 days from that was a Raider game. Was that kind of the defining moment for this decision?
No, I didn't mean it that way. I mean, I just threw out 10 days. Today, I just said the last couple weeks. It's you never make a decision off one day. You never make it off of one preseason game or anything like that. It's accumulation of work. I thought it was a lot tighter earlier on in camp. I thought the more Sam got comfortable, the more reps he got, the more he started to separate himself, and I think that's been over the last couple weeks.
Was there anything about the Trey Lance experience that you wish you had done differently?
I always feel like I let Trey down. I mean, I wanted him to come here. I believe in Trey. I believed in him before we took him, and I'm responsible for that. I didn't want to throw him into the heat of battle right away, but I thought he needed to play, so we tried to figure out every way to do that. I mean, if I can look back in hindsight, he broke that finger on a helmet on that 4th preseason game versus the Raiders. I wish I didn't put him in a play that had him break his finger, because I think that really hurt him in his first year. And not only did it hurt him not getting able to mix in much, but it hurt him in the practice time because he had to adjust how he threw and things like that, which I think set him back for his second year. When we went into the second year, we gave him every chance to do it. We were going to make an offense that, to me, gave him the best chance to be successful at that time, which we did do. And when you do that, you hope a guy can stay healthy so he can stay out there long enough, but that didn't last long. It was the first game, and after that, I always felt for him, and we continue to work with him, but sometimes things just don't work out.
Was there an internal struggle about? He's still a young guy. He's 23 years old. He's only halfway through his rookie contract. Did you consider just keeping him here just to give him a chance to eventually be the guy that you thought you were getting when you drafted him?
Yeah, we do consider that. I just think that was hard for us to do that with where we're at as a team, how much time we have given him, and the situation here where we gave him every chance to beat out Sam, and it just didn't happen. And when you look at it in that case, there's not much opportunities you can do on that practice field. There's not a developmental league. There's not a whole field on the side where we can get our players just to practice to give him reps. You got to get the 1 ready to go. And when you're not, it's hard enough to get the 2 ready to go. The 3 is usually a guy who never gets a rep till he randomly gets out there, and that wasn't what I felt was right for Trey, and with how much we had done so far, and that wasn't going to be what was right for our team either. I thought it was time to move on for him and for us, and I'm well aware of everything that happened, and yeah, unfortunately it did happen, but I like where our team's at too right now, and I feel very good about that. And I also feel very good that despite all that, you'd love to keep a 3rd guy to develop, especially a guy that you really, really love, and believe that he could do it someday. But to do that for $7 million over 2 years with places where we are in the cap, when you can't provide those reps and stuff for people, and you got other things with our team where we're doing, that to me doesn't make much sense for the Niners. I wish it would, because hell yeah, we'd love to just keep them until eventually it works out. But that clock ran out here, and that's why we had to make a real tough decision, one we didn't enjoy doing, one we didn't want to do. But we try to do what we think's best, and this is what we think's best.
This just came down to the fact that where you guys were as a team didn't align with what Trey needed to get where he was trying to go.
Very much so. I mean, I do think there was a chance. We thought we were aligned as a team to win right away when we did it with him. We knew it would take him time, but we also had to make a decision where we were going to go with our team over a 2-year window. And we felt if we could get a rookie quarterback or a guy in a rookie deal who could help us win, man, we could put a good team around him. And we took a shot with Trey because we believed he could. We knew it would take some time. But in the meantime, we were going to have a pretty good team. And the time that we did give him when he had his ops, he missed those. And those weren't his fault. They weren't our fault. They were just, that's what happens in football. And when you take a risk on someone who does need to develop and does need some of that time, and then he misses that time, and we are where we're at right now, it is kind of what it is. And I think we are very fortunate that we did find a guy. We still have a rookie quarterback or a guy on a rookie deal that has helped us put together a good team. We do have a guy that we believe can win with on that deal. And we also feel we have a very strong backup. And that's where we're at. You guys good?
Is Robbie Gould a possibility?
I'm sure everyone's a possibility, but that's stuff we haven't discussed yet.
All right, well, my question was, last week when Trey had that game-winning opportunity, you had him down the ball and kicked the field goal. Do you think that was a missed opportunity?
What's that?
Last week when Trey was on that last drive and then you had him down the ball and then you kicked the field goal instead of him going there for the touchdown, you think that was a missed opportunity?
Missed opportunity for what?
To evaluate what he can do in that situation?
No, we evaluate him every day. I should have done that for you, but no, we were good. All right, guys. Thanks.
Trey got to be pretty close last season, I'm sure, in the offseason. Shocked to see this happen this quickly. What are your emotions living through this?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I love Trey, everything that he's done for this organization, and obviously for myself. I know I've told you guys a bunch of times before, but, going in last year and then him just being by my side from the get-go, sideline, meetings, in the locker room, wherever we're at, man, he's been a real one and helped me come into the league and welcomed me with open arms and showed me the ropes to this whole thing. So can't tell you how grateful I am for him and to have him in my life and to be here with him. So forever grateful for Trey. Obviously, in terms of the situation, like happy for him that he's able to go into a good situation and I mean, we all feel like it's a good fit. But at the end of the day, man, I can't say how thankful I am to have played and been a teammate with Trey. So.
Did you get to see Trey today? What kind of conversations have you had with him the last couple of days?
Yeah, I saw him, out by the weight room before the game and stuff. He was out there talking to some guys, and I was able to go over and just tell him, that I love him and, like I said, how appreciative that I am of him, everything that he's done for obviously myself and the team. So, told him that I'm really happy for him and excited to see what he does, man, with his opportunity and his career in the NFL. So excited for him.
How did he seem?
His spirits were good. He was, obviously I feel like, there was some just talking to guys and the relationships that he had with guys. Like you could tell, like, man, like, I'm moving on kind of thing. And so a bunch of guys, man, like, everyone in this locker room has his back. And so everyone was, dapping him up, hugging him, loving on him and everything. But to sort of see that, obviously it's tough seeing one of your buddies, leave. But at the same time, we're all excited that, man, he's got a good opportunity ahead of him. And he was in great spirits. So.
Did you know what was going on when he wasn't at practice the other day? Did you understand, was it the news the way Kyle described it, kind of haphazard maybe the way things got out?
Yeah, I mean, we honestly had no idea. He wasn't at practice, and we're like, okay, where's he at kind of thing. And Greasy said, he was just taking some time to think things over and whatnot after he had heard the decision that Sam was, going to be the second string quarterback. And, so all of us were like, okay, we got to practice. We got to continue to do what we're doing. Everything will happen how it needs to happen after. And then, Trey was back in meetings, ready to roll, expected to play in the game. And then the news broke literally when we were all in the locker room getting ready for the game. So none of us had an idea of what was going on. So.
Are you aware of just how divided it seems like the whole quarterback conversation has been this offseason? And did you and Trey, or you and Sam, or you and Brandon ever have any dialogue about that in the outside world?
Honestly, no. I had my surgery, and then, we brought in Sam, brought in Brandon, and really, we were all sort of going through our own thing. Trey was obviously continuing to get healthy with his foot. Obviously, I'm coming off surgery with my arm, so I'm just focusing on my arm. No one really knew, what camp was going to look like or going into the season, anything like that. It was all really up in the air. We all wanted to get healthy, first of all, and then just compete from there. And I feel like that was all of our mindsets. There was no, talk about, hey, they're saying this or that in the media. We don't talk about any of that. It's strictly ball for us, and we all pull for each other and push each other every single day. So that's sort of just how it went.
Well, when you were drafted, it was Trey 1, Sudfeld 2, you 3, Jimmy thrown on a side field. Then it was Trey and Jimmy and you, and then it was Jimmy and you. Does it hit you just how volatile this all has been in the last year or so? I mean, that's a lot of stuff in about a year.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sort of goes to show you, man. You're in the NFL, the positions and how everything looks, the depth chart, it all can change overnight, just obviously depending on what happens and situations and stuff. But, for me, it's how can I be present? How can I be where I'm at? Not trying to get wrapped up in, he's first, second, third, whatever. The more you think about that kind of stuff, the more it can consume you and affect how you play. And so for me this past year, man, it's been do what I'm told from the coaches, and then, everything else happens how it ends up happening. And that's just sort of how I look at it. But, yeah, it is wild. Sort of like welcome to the NFL kind of thing.
I think we ask you a version of this every time you're up there, but now that you're through preseason, how would you just describe where you're at right now as we head toward the regular season final?
Yeah, I feel good. Obviously excited to get rolling for Pittsburgh and to have everyone, be able to play on the field at the same time, with Christian, George, Debo, B.A., everyone, have Trent out there as well. So it's something that we're all looking forward to. We're really excited about it. Felt like camp has been, pretty solid last couple of weeks, and, we're, like I said, man, we're ready to get this thing rolling.
Do you feel 100% recovered and back to normal?
Yeah, I do.
Say anything in terms of wishing the team well and how you guys would do?
Yeah, he said he's obviously going to be pulling for us and watching every step of the way, but, it was more like us being appreciative of everything that he's done for us. So, yeah, that's the conversations that we had.
So, do you feel any survivor's remorse? This time last year, it was Trey's job. He gets hurt, and you end up taking over, have a great run, and then you get hurt in the playoffs. And come back, you're the man. Do you feel any remorse that this time, a year ago, he was the man, and now he's gone?
I mean, at the end of the day, I try to just do my job, do what I'm told, as a quarterback. It's not like I come in here and go, all right, I'm going to try to beat this guy out, this guy. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with, this is what I've been called to do in life. As a quarterback, I'm going to come in, do my job. And, some situations happen. It sucks how, Jimmy got hurt, Trey got hurt, and things happen like that. But at the same time, it's how the NFL is. And so, no hard feelings. I love Trey, and I want nothing but the best for him.
All right, thanks, guys. Sam's right here. Sam, how did you find out, and where did you find out that from Kyle that you were the number 2 quarterback?
Yeah, I think it was, just going out to practice and him kind of relaying the news to me.
On the field?
Mm-hmm.
Was that on Wednesday? When was that?
I don't remember the exact day. Yeah.
Was that a surprise to you, or had you felt that things were kind of trending in that direction?
No, I think, for me and Trey, we were both competing. We were doing everything that we could to earn that job. And, I think for me it's as a competitor, you're expected to want to win that job. And for me, it was just going out there, playing really good football every single day. And I knew that at the end of the day, if I did that, I could be in a really good spot to earn that job. But I wasn't in my head at all ever like thinking, oh, I have a really good chance to win this. I was just taking it one day at a time, one practice at a time, one game at a time.
Having been in the spot that Trey's in now, getting traded, what kind of words do you have for him, or did you have for him if you spoke to him?
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to speak to him or speak to him yet since he got traded. But yeah, I mean, he's a great dude. Loved in the locker room and all those things, and great teammate. Even coming here and competing and doing all those things, and even since OTAs, he's been nothing but great to me, and I've appreciated that a ton. So I'm sorry, what was your question?
What kind of advice or would you have, as someone who's been through
Yeah.
what he's going through now?
Yeah, it's just putting one foot in front of the other. Taking it one day at a time. Obviously going there, and I know he's gonna seize whatever opportunity comes in his way, and he's gonna dive headfirst into that playbook and get it down. So it's really it's kind of a what's next mentality in terms of trying to get the playbook down, and you don't really have time to think about any other things other than football.
Did you have an opportunity to speak to him after you were told that you would win the position?
Yeah, we had a couple days to just be able to be in the quarterback meetings and stuff and talk about it, and but yeah, I know Trey, like I said, he's a great dude, really good player. He's going to go somewhere and go to Dallas and take advantage of the opportunities that he gets.
A lot of Trey's biggest fans have been loudly critical of you. I'm just kind of wondering, have you heard that criticism? Has it bothered you at all? How have you dealt with it these last couple months?
No, I haven't heard or looked at any criticism. I'm not scrolling through the comments on anything, Twitter, Instagram, any of that stuff. So, and then people, I haven't heard anything on the streets or anything like that. People saying things to me, but yeah, I think if I were to see those things or hear those things, it would just I don't know if it would affect me that much, to be honest.
We've talked a lot about better decision making is key for you. You had many interceptions in training camp practices and one interception you had in the game in preseason. It wasn't your fault. I mean, obviously, it seems like you're making strides. What is it that's helped you develop in that area?
Yeah, I think for me it's understanding, okay, what the situation is, having a better grasp of, okay, first and second down, just being a little more careful with the football, understanding, we have a couple more downs to go to get the first down, and all those things play into it. And then third down, kind of understanding what coverages they play and where we want to attack the defense, and what my progressions are. So I think having a really good grasp on the offense, and understanding kind of what the defense is doing, and being able to make quick and decisive decisions with the football. That's the biggest part in this position is take care of the football, and that's, I think, the best way to do it.
What have you learned about the system and how it might make you better than other places you've been?
I just think, going through the progressions, and I'm not going to compare it to any other systems I've been in, but I just love how everything's very concise and clear, and this is where we're going with the football in this coverage, and in this coverage we're alerting this, and we're just getting it down to our back or whatever. It's very clear and concise with what we want to do and what we want to accomplish on every play.
Black and white,
Yep.
every play. And so how do you feel like at the end of the day, when you go in and watch the film with Ryan or whomever, how have you been as far as making the right reads and making the right decision?
Yeah, I feel like I've been doing a good job of making the right decisions. There's going to be certain plays where you'd like to have it back, but usually I can tell, right after the play, dang, I should have gone to my alert on that play or gone to the back. So, Yeah. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, guys, go ahead. Yeah.
Maybe go over the timeline. Kyle said that it might have accelerated today when more teams got in.
Yeah. You know, when I guess that was Wednesday when Kyle informed Trey of the decision with Sam being the number 2. And, you know, I think that led to just some organic conversations between them. And Kyle came up to my office and just said, hey, you know, as we started talking, you know, Trey's like he always is. He's all in. he did suggest and ask, hey, if we could find the right opportunity, that he would appreciate that. He also said he'd be here and continue to compete. And I had a chance then to talk to Trey's agent, and I gave him my word that I'd look and see what's out there. So we started that process, and it culminated today with Dallas happening, and it felt like a long time, but it was really a short period of time, a couple days, where we're talking to teams, and teams are reaching out to us, and the end result was what we ended up with.
Give them permission to seek a trade? Is that what happened?
We kind of worked on it together, and I told Patrick Collins is his rep. I told Patrick, feel free to go out and find teams if you want. So we kind of kept in communication during the process, and want to let you guys know Trey was tremendous during this whole thing. Handled it, as well as you could, and just asked if there is a good landing spot. I'd be appreciative of that. But if I'm here, I'm here. Yeah.
It's traded up to get him. You gave him all those picks.
Yeah.
Why give up on a guy who's only 23 years old and only halfway through that contract?
Yeah, it's a fair question, and it's something we talked a lot about internally. Ultimately, with Brock being healthy, number one, and we're excited about that. Sam being the number two. The reality, it's not the way everybody works it, but with our system, the number one takes a lot of reps. The number two takes the scout team reps. It's just not a whole lot of opportunity. I heard Kyle talk about it, to get better, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to play to get better. I think that's going to be his opportunity. Play, ideally games, but play is running scout team. Play is doing all those things. We weren't going to have that, and so how do you allow a player to grow? And so, back to what we put into him. We take, believe me, we take full accountability. We own that, and but as I said, on TV today, I think his story is very much unwritten. I've got a lot of belief in the kid, and think with his talent, with his work ethic, he's going to forge a nice career in this thing. And so, love the kid. Kyle and I, when we broke the news to him today, saw him light up a little bit, and he loves it here. He was very appreciative of the opportunity. Like Trey. Typical Trey, he apologized to us, and there was nothing for him to apologize for. And we're happy that he's got a spot, and the Cowboys came up big, and I think that's an indication that they're excited to have him, and we're excited for Trey's new opportunity, and we'll always be big fans.
It's not an optimal time to have to trade someone. Are you pleasantly surprised that you got a floor under these conditions?
It's not what it looked like when we first started having conversation. Went anywhere close, so it did advance in a hurry today. And so, not doing cartwheels over it, because my preference would have been that it worked out, and it didn't. And there's circumstances for that, and we can explain them away, but the reality is the reality. He had a couple opportunities. I think injuries played a part, and where we're at as a team, we felt like this was the best situation for us, also the best situation for him.
Trey fell behind Brock, which is understandable, but I think a lot of people don't understand how Trey fell behind Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Especially, we were there, we watched every snap, and I don't think it was clear to us that Sam was clearly better. What happened?
I think it was a tight battle, Grant, and I think Kyle would say the same thing. But ultimately, coaches are paid to make those decisions, and they felt collectively that Sam had separated himself, and that wasn't for lack of Trey competing his tail off and and he improved greatly. So think we were real proud of the effort he made. Sam has had a really good camp, and you see Sam's arm talent, his abilities. I think he's a good. The same reasons why we were interested in bringing him here have kind of come to fruition. Now it's got to go happen, but ultimately we felt that was the best decision, and then I explained from there.
A couple more,
Go ahead, Eric. Yeah.
As you know, usually when teams make a move like this for a quarterback,
Yeah.
it doesn't work out, and it sets them back
Right.
forever.
Right.
Obviously, this is not the case with you guys.
Yeah.
You get full credit for being Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Have you and John ever, like, humorously otherwise, just said, damn, we're really lucky?
Yeah. You know, try not to look at things like that, Eric. This thing's not an exact science, but when you put that much into a player, you know, it usually is, really tough to rebound from. Fortunately, we've been able to continue to grow this team, to make this team better, and we were very fortunate for Brock to become what he's become. Now he's got to continue to do it, but the early returns are good, and everything from his rookie year to the somewhat I won't say miraculous, but he made a hell of a return, and with some hurdles in there, starting surgery late and all that, for him to be where he's at. And we had to open our eyes and say, okay, he's cleared, but is he ready? And he kept showing us that he was. And then the other things transpired that led us to where we're at.
John,
Take some more. We'll go over here and we'll go Nick live.
John, it's a cap sport. How much did the salary cap ramifications of the average quarterback makes $1 million, third string quarterback is making $9 million, his cap figure? How much did that cap figure and the cap implications?
I think in future years, Trey's on the minimum this year. In future years, next year it kicks up quite a bit, and that kind of coincides when our stuff's going to get tight. So, of course that plays a factor. As Kyle said, we would have loved to kept all 4 of those guys in the building, and Trey is I think everyone should know he's a tremendous teammate. He's a tremendous human being. And so never was it like we were worried we're going to have a malcontent. Trey told us that, hey, if I'm here, and I'm rolling. But if you could, find a spot for me. And so there was some level of that, and finding a nice landing spot for him. And I think we did that.
We'll go last one, Nick. Going back to the process that led you to Trey when you drafted him, and maybe this is hindsight a little bit, but how much do you think maybe you underestimated the gap between where you were as a team and what you needed from quarterback versus how much he needed to develop in time that you let him?
He hadn't played a ton of football, so we knew we were taking, somewhat of a chance. But, I believe to this day, if we hadn't taken him, someone would have right behind us. I think the next pick. And so I don't think we were the only ones seeing it. He's a very talented young man. He's got a lot of qualities in his makeup that lead towards, and believe me, I still think that story's unwritten. So it didn't work for us, but I think, one of the things we've been talking about and thinking about, there's all kinds of stories from, Steve Young, who sat for a while, Warren Moon up in Canada, to Kurt Warner, working in a grocery store. So I still very much have belief that he's going to become a player. Now it's just not going to be for us, and we take full accountability for that. And, in some way, we got lucky on Brock, but sure, that set back our team. It would have been nice to have those picks and all that, so we do own that. And fortunately, we still have a really good football team that I think's got his, a legitimate shot. We're focused on game 1, but we have a championship level roster now. It's what we make of it.
Yeah. Optimism that Nick Bosa will be signed by week 1?
Yeah, I do. And, we got a lot of work to do, and we'll continue to do that. He's a great player. We want him here. We need him here. Thank you.
What's that? Are you thinking of any of trading as a salary paying any day?